And I'm not sure what episode this is, 9, 10, 11, but the official water of the GG33 podcast, Evian. But that's not Evian, is it? No, that's not Evian.
Let's fix that.
We have a whole. Can we fix that, please? Can we get another Evian over here? Come on, get this counterfeit shit out of here.
There you go.
Get this counterfeit shit out of here. Okay. Cheers, because we can't do no haram shit. Anyways, this is another GG33 podcast, and today I am bringing in a man who's a GG33 capo. And if people don't know what capos are, we have GG33 Academy, then we have GG33 Bronze, then we have GG33 Silver, then we have the top of the food chain, GG33 Gold. And from those people who are in GG33 Gold, I pick certain people to be capos. And if you know what a capo is, you probably watch too many mob movies. But at the end of the day, my capos are my lieutenants, just like they were in the mob. Jaymes, introduce yourself.
If I had to boil it down to one thing in life, what I do is teach. I guide people, advise people. Done it since I was young. Now I have numerology, astrology to step up the game. That simple.
You're a serious individual, my man.
Most of the time. I can throw in a joke here and then. We'll see if I can.
That's some comedy for you right off top.
We'll get a few out of me today.
Anyways, Jaymes, when did I find you? 2014?
I first came across you on Twitter 2012.
2012.
How many followers you have back then?
It's probably less than 10K.
A couple thousand.
Well, not too many. 2012. That's like 3 years after I started. I'm probably around 6-7K because, you know, on Twitter, a 6-7K account now means jack shit. But back then, before we had this inflation with 2 extra zeros behind it, a 6-7K account in 2012 probably was something.
It was.
Yeah, that was a while. But when did you join GG33?
It wasn't 2012. It was 2014.
2014 you joined.
Yeah. First, I got a reading from you in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Then we started talking 2013. We had our differences in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You remember. But we came to terms. I joined about April 2014. So it's been a while. It's been a minute.
That's a good memory, man. That sure as hell don't remember. I remember 2014, but not April. When you joined the group, you're not like most people in GG33. You didn't ask me to join. I kind of pulled you in.
That's true.
And you're probably one of the few people that actually have the privilege of saying that. Most people are coming to me, but when I saw you, and I actually didn't see you, when I started talking to you, I basically recognized you're a genius. Genius starts with G. G is the 7th letter, and you are a 7th life path.
That is true. You saw the potential. I couldn't exactly talk too well back then.
I mean, you know, I remember having the conversation with you in 2014, 2015. I'm like, bro, you're smart, but I need you to learn how to talk. I need you to have conversations. And to this day, right now, how many people have you had in your Western astrology class?
Couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Give us a ballpark measure.
Probably 50.
50 people. So you are a teacher, a direct teacher to 50 people. I'm assuming most of them are GG33 members.
Right.
Yep.
Other than that, it's been at least hundreds that I've taught directly and indirectly.
How many readings have you done for me since I put you in that position? I believe it was 2018.
Right. Well, it's at least 200 this year. Couldn't say about the other years.
I would say you probably did about 1,500 in your life by now. Paid.
That's a good estimate.
Yeah, about paid. So again, this is a man who you're talking to here, who's not only one of the best in the world because he's trained by me. This is a man who has done 1,500 paid readings. That's 1,498 more than 99.9% of the fucking frauds out there who actually call themselves numerologists. So again, you are a man who was in the trenches, and I put you in that position. And do you remember when I told you, when you took over, I told you this would get easy. And now, is it difficult?
Nope. Do it with my eyes closed.
Do it with the eyes closed. And that's actually, and by the way, since we're talking about eyes, no, we're not the men in black. But you see, actually, you know, this is something I always watch people like, why are these idiots wearing sunglasses? See, when you actually do podcasts, it's not just the light that you just flick on. They have these big lights around you. They shine in your fucking eyes. And, you know, they kind of bother you after a while. So that is why we do the men in black thing. And we put on sunglasses, because this shit actually shines. You can see the reflection right here. So when it comes down to it, no, we're not trying to be cool. No, we're not trying to fucking be gangsters. We're just trying to protect our eyes. That's it, folks. People think of all sorts of conspiracy theories, man. You know, I'm sure someone's thinking we got initiated into Skull and Bones today, and that's why we're wearing the sunglasses. And by the way, if I touch the sunglasses at this point, that actually means something. But because I did it from here, that means something else. These people are fucking crazy.
Can't argue with that.
There's so many fucked up people in the world. I'm not even getting like for instance, I've been accused of being Illuminati for about 12, 13 years. Like they really think like Lord Rothschild handpicked me, and that's why I'm getting all this exposure and everything. They seem to forget the 18 accounts that were suspended. They seem to forget when I wasn't even allowed to put my name. I couldn't even use Gary the Numbers Guy because that account would get suspended. Do you remember what I used to go as? Do you remember what my old account was? I couldn't even use my name.
Numerology now.
No. I got that account, but what was the name I called it?
Good question.
Does anyone out there remember what I used to call myself because I couldn't actually say my name? What's that? No, that's an account's name. But my name was Gary the Numbers Guy. What else was it? North American Union. Remember, I was calling myself the North American Union? And that was there for 2 fucking years. And it wasn't until Elon Musk took over. What was it? When did he take over officially? April or something? When did he take over officially? November of last year or something like that? I don't know. Wherever he took off officially, I switched my name back to Gary the Numbers Guy. My account was at 16,000.
October 28th, wasn't it?
Yep, somewhere in November. So I switched my account that day, and from there until October 28th, I picked up about 40K. And again, suspended 18 times. They cost me at least $250,000. At least. Those are conservative estimates. And the fact of the matter is, we're now in 2023. 2023 is a universal 7 year. So that's why people are into knowledge this year. Because they're actually acting more like you this year, aren't they?
True. It's a lot easier to talk to people about this stuff this year. They also cost you momentum, by the way.
No, a lot of momentum. But it's okay. Momentum can be taken back because there's no timeouts in this game. There's no, it's just a constant grind. You know, even at Wall Street, 9:30 to 4 Eastern Standard Time, 5 times a week. But unless you're trading futures, you're good. There's an off period. You know, in the NBA, you got 48 minutes. In baseball, 9 innings plus. If you don't get a winner, you get the man on second and keep going. In football, they have overtime. Then they have ties. But not in this game. In the game called life, there are no timeouts. When you're taking a day off, your competition's trying to outwork you. So when it comes down to it, no. No timeouts here, and we can make up that momentum. All we have to do is do something extremely drastic. But
Right.
if I actually tell people what that's going to be, it wouldn't be.
Got to shock the system.
I got to shock the system, man. You know, I keep telling people, and I always want people to listen to me when it comes to this one point. Even if you think numerology is BS and astrology. Yeah, you're probably a dumbass, but if you actually believe that, that's fine. But listen to me when it comes down to this. No matter what you do, just be the best of the best. You're one of the best in the world. What you do, you got taught by the best. And by the way, tell people what it is to like to live your life. Like, what do you like? You don't do a 9 to 5, do you?
No, I do this for a living now.
Tell these people again. You don't have a 9 to 5, do you?
I do not.
Okay. You do what for a living?
I teach, give readings.
Numerology.
I apply numerology and other ways to make money.
So again, it's one thing to be able to pull this off myself. Everyone already knows I have a bag. It's a completely other thing to actually put other people on. And that's exactly what I did. Because this man's been loyal to me for pretty much a decade. And you always have to reward loyalty. Not only that, if he was just loyal and he wasn't capable, it wouldn't really mean much. But he's a smart son of a bitch, man. You are extraordinarily gifted when it comes to your minds. Now, the vocabulary skills are going to come, but when it comes down to it, you know exactly on a one-on-one basis how to teach. And tell people what you actually do a little bit more in depth. You're one of my teachers in GG33 Academy.
That's right. Starting December of last year, basically teaching the essentials when it comes to numerology and astrology, anything that is below the level of GG33 bronze. So we cover Western astrology, we cover numbers, we cover a variety of topics. I do a Q&A about once a week, get questions from all over the world, and that's how we roll.
I like it. And besides you doing classes and basically spaces in GG33 Academy once a week, you also do numerology and astrology. But he's not the only teacher in there. We have Peyton with holistic. We have Styx with crystals. We have Ursula teaching tarot. We have a whole Drew in there teaching New World Order history. We have a lot of people in there. Blondie teaching Kundalini. You have a lot of information. Even me, I put out some videos in there that are extremely helpful when it comes down to understanding what to look for with women. Those videos I put out with are worth the price of admission alone, because one of the biggest failures that people have in life is picking their significant other and stuff like that. And I got to be honest with you, when it comes down to it, I don't make that mistake. So why would you listen to some of these frauds? Like, remember Allison?
Divorced how many times?
Divorced 3 times, but she's going to sell you matchmaking advice. And when I call her out on it, she says, listen to this. I remember what she told me. She told me, well, I've been through a divorce 3 times. I'm more qualified than anyone else. I'm like, are you fucking nuts? And then when I keep confronting her, you know what her next response was?
What?
You hate women.
Wow.
So when I ask a woman who's a numerologist and astrologer, someone whose work reflects on me because I'm in the same field, when I ask her to be accountable for being divorced 3 times and selling matchmaking advice, what does this bitch tell me? I'm sexist. See, how many times have you noticed women do stuff like that when you actually try to hold them accountable? Women
every day.
You married?
Just observing.
When it comes down to it, I'm very thankful I found who I did, but let's not face it, it's not because I was lucky. I didn't find someone I'm good with for 20 years because I'm lucky. I did it. And by the way, it's hard to believe it's 20 years. It's hard to believe it's 20 freaking years. I mean, I can believe it when I look in the room, mirror, and I see gray hairs. I believe it, but I still don't want to believe it. My wife is still, 21 years old for the last 2 decades. She just doesn't age. Every single year is the same amount of candles in there. Every single year. Me, I kind of age, but it's you guys are lucky. That's all I'm gonna say. All you influencers of today, oh, you're so lucky. I dominate every single one of you motherfuckers. I don't give a fuck if it's Tate. I don't give a fuck if it's KSI, Logan Paul. You are lucky as hell this technology wasn't around 2 decades ago. I would have dominated everything, just like I dominate right now. I went on TikTok today. I put in GG33, 1 day old. Fucking 50 videos popped up. 50. That's how capitalism works, and good marketing and a good production. And guess what? People are interested because it's finally here. People are awakening. That 7 energy hits hard in that cat year, brother. Because when you have energy that's curious like a cat, and all of a sudden it's hit with 7 energy, all of a sudden people are a lot more interested in this, aren't they?
Even the NPCs this year.
Ooh! Some of these NPCs out here trying to fucking feel like they got something pumping in here. They're trying to pretend like they got some souls. And you know what? I'm not going to say anything negative to an NPC that's trying, because, it's just like an animal that shows compassion. You got to be like, okay, man. Bravo, you're trying, but you're still the Tin Man. You're still the Tin Man, and you still got no heart. Because no matter what you do, you're still an NPC. And a lot of you guys are going to find out who the NPCs are. You know how you're going to find out? Damn, that light is bright, man.
2024.
Woo.
That's when they're going to find out.
That light is bright. You take that off, and you want to make a big-ass statement, all of a sudden it's like, boom! But anyways, these NPCs who are really into numerology, astrology, the occult, everything, watch what happens next year. Like he just said, watch what happens next year. What's going to happen next year is they're not going to be interested. The only thing they're going to be interested in is that fucking bag. That's what they're going to be interested in. And again, I'm interested in the bag. So is he. So is everyone watching. But that is going to be the only thing they're interested, because next year is going to be a universal 8 year. And what do people want in 8?
Money.
They want that money. They like on that gold digger shit 24/7. By the way, of all the signs, what do you consider the biggest gold digger in Western astrology?
Tough one. I mean, it's going to be.
I think it's between 2.
It's going to be between Aries
Mm-hmm.
and Capricorn.
Yes, sir. That's definitely between those 2. So who do you think edges it out?
I'm going to go with Aries.
I would go with Aries too. And the reason I go with Aries is because I consider Aries women a lot better looking than Capricorn women.
As a whole, I would agree with
Well,
that.
obviously there's going to be a Capricorn born on the 5th, who's going to look better than most Aries. But then you take that Aries born on April 5th, you might get some competition. But here's the thing. Aries are very blunt when I give them readings. I tell Aries when I give them readings, you are a gold digger. And they never take it offensively. Because I asked them, do you want me to be honest with you? And when they say they want me to be honest with you, I'm like, okay, you're a gold digger. They always take her well.
It all comes back to the numbers, though, doesn't it? We have the first sign.
Of course.
We have the 10th sign.
Both
Both are ones.
It is. It is.
An ambitious woman. That's the nice way of putting it.
I think a Capricorn's going to be more loyal than the Aries.
I would agree.
If you marry, if a Capricorn marries you for money, they just might stay if shit doesn't work out. The chances of an Aries staying with you after you're a millionaire, you go broke. That's like getting hit by lightning twice. It ain't happening, dog.
I would say a Capricorn treats a relationship like an investment. Not going to let it go.
That's a very, very eloquent way of saying it, my friend. What would you say is the most beta sign in Western astrology? Come on, man. We got to step on some toes. You got to offend some people. You got to get some new haters.
Betas, huh?
What is the biggest beta sign in Western astrology?
I mean, that's a tough one.
I don't think so.
What do you think?
I put you on the question. You ain't gonna do me like a Jewish question. I asked you the question first.
Got to look at Virgos. Got to look at the twin of Gemini being Virgo. Definitely Gemini is going to be the alpha of those pair.
Uh-huh. So you would say the Virgo's the biggest beta in the zodiac?
I don't know about biggest. They definitely have a dark side. They have an edge to them sometimes. Libras can be soft at times, but they talk a lot of shit.
Libras do a lot with that tongue, don't they?
Yeah.
During readings, I keep have to tell these Libra men, you gotta watch what you're doing with that tongue. And then I tell them to Google Michael Douglas. Do you remember what happened to Michael Douglas?
Yeah. Got that throat cancer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a Libra?
I knew that.
Yeah.
September 25th.
25th. And his wife was September 25th as well. Kathleen Zeta-Jones. And by the way, if you go back to a movie called From Dusk Till Dawn, I think it was like a very late 90s movie, maybe early 2000s. It was like a vampire movie. She is in that movie as the lead character. Oh, wow. Michael Douglas did very well for himself. He did very well for himself if you watch that movie, man. By the way, do you think vampires are real?
In a manner of speaking.
Well, yeah.
There's energy vampires.
Yeah, there's plenty of people sucking people's blood, but are there people literally sucking people's blood?
I wouldn't rule it out.
You wouldn't rule it out? Have you seen any evidence going back and forth?
Seen some strange things over the years.
Personally or just on TV?
Personally, but nothing that I could prove.
Nothing you can prove. All right, what are some of the strange things you've seen over the years?
Just looking at people's eyes, seeing what's there, seeing what's not there, just getting a feeling.
Have you ever seen someone's eyes not closed like this, but closed like this?
Once.
Most people say that's a reptilian. And they say these reptilians are among us. I think that's a whole bunch of bullshit. I do not think there's some fucking lizard people walking around. I do think that's good Rothschild propaganda. I really do.
I mean, given the fact that this is a simulation, a false realm, anything is possible. It's unlikely. More likely is they're fourth dimensional beings that are astrally possessing people.
Yes. Now, see, that makes sense. People in the fourth dimension on a much higher plane that don't have the density to be on a third dimensional plane like us because we have souls. Yes, I do see a possibility that they could take over people, especially if they're on drugs, if their vibration is low. Or what if that movie, The Matrix, was more real than most people anticipated? And all the people Agent Smith used to be able to go into, maybe that's what these fourth dimensional beings, that they can go into NPC anytime they want. That would sure explain a lot of these people who just start picking up a gun and start killing people.
Very possible it's much more literal than people take it.
When I go into Columbine, and I believe Columbine happened in '99, when the guy born Dylan Claiborne, and they basically started off the big school shooting craze that's been in this country for about a quarter of a century since. When I see that happen in the cat year, and when I see that everything that's this year that's happened, we've had so many shootings this year. And when you start, applying psychology to the fact that humans and cats are some of the only animals on this planet that kill for pleasure, then you can start seeing that, you can actually predict how this program's going to go. Because you understand that this is a whole virtual reality. And if you understand how to read the numbers, you're going to understand the way the NPCs are going. Because the NPCs get pushed by this virtual reality. They get affected by it too. So right now, some of these NPCs out there are going to be calling themselves numerologists in 2 years, they'll forget all about this shit. But the ones who have souls, the ones who actually reincarnate and have something right fucking here, oh, they ain't gonna forget. Their whole lives are changing right now. Those are the people I'm talking. Those are the people he's teaching. Those are the people who are coming to GG33. Because no matter what you think, the elite use this, and we're basically, what are we, code breakers? That's what we are. I don't even like the term numerology or astrology, do you?
Matrix code breakers.
We're matrix code breakers. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of people now are matrix code breakers. If you see 11:11 on the clock, and you're starting to trying to figure out what the fuck it means, you're a matrix code breaker. Now, there's different levels to it, obviously. Don't think you're going to learn about this shit today, and all of a sudden you're going to be fucking the next LeBron James. All right? Right now, most of the people who are learning this, they're probably,
They're about to turn schizo.
Nah, it's
Gotta have a strong mind for this.
People have to understand, while there's certain people in the Gematria community I support, like Gematria Club, he is by far the best at this. And there's certain things I like to rename Gematria into letterology. Most of the people in the Gematria community are mentally ill.
100%.
I mean, listen, you cannot take someone's name and break down every single facet like me and you do with the birthdays. It's not possible. Yes, you can break down a name and say certain things about someone. Someone named Amanda would be a little bit more aggressive as a woman. Someone named Dale would be a hard worker. Shit like that. But you can't break down everyone's facet just by a fucking name. By the way, you can change names, right?
Correct.
But you can't change birthdays.
No.
So what is more important? What is the strongest imprinted energy? The birthday or the name?
Gotta be the birthday.
See, that's logical. That's logical. See, what you guys don't understand is we're logical people. As a matter of fact, before you start getting into numerology, if I recall, the first phone call we had, you were kind of trying to disprove this shit.
Just a little bit.
Like,
I mean, I've been on it since 2011 before I met you. Found out I'm a 7, I'm a loner. Obviously, just myself wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough.
But it hit a chord, so I started searching.
And did you not try to disprove this stuff? Because that's what a intellectual person does. He tries to take his belief system and tries to stack it up to see how it actually measure up in everyday life. And you did that, correct?
Yes.
And I did that obviously as well. And here's the thing. He's a 7. I'm born in the 7th. Most people who are 7s, they're going to actually start seeing how this makes sense.
The ones that don't get stuck in too much of the scientific thinking, rational thinking.
Let's see. Styx is a 7. She picked up on this stuff very, very quickly. So when it comes down to it, I want people to understand 7 energy is supreme when it comes to intelligence. 33 with the exception of that one, but the 7s are the teachers, the 33s are the master teachers. The 7s need just a little bit of breadcrumbs. Just give the guy a little bit. Just give him a little bit. He'll figure the rest out. That's how 7s are. They just need a little bit of breadcrumbs. Other people, they need the whole fucking loaf, bro. Not just some breadcrumbs. They need a fucking loaf of bread because a lot of people just aren't as fast as you.
All right, so that's a lot of good stuff about the 7. What are some of the weaknesses?
There, why don't you tell us? But don't give too much away.
I mean, the mouthpiece. Talk about that?
Yeah, sure. When it comes down to people with 7 energy, they're usually not the best at running their mouth. Obviously, when it comes to me, I'm the rare exception. When it comes down to me, I've been doing this for a long time, not to mention I'm a 33 life path. But most people with the 7s, they just don't do so well. But the fact of the matter is, they can. If they are pushed and they are applied, they can fucking be great at this. and you're
Because we got problem solving skills. So put your mind to it. You can learn how to communicate if you're a 7. I mean, it helps if you're a Gemini. It helps if you're born on a 3-day. But any 7 can do it.
But don't you agree that you actually need to make that effort to actually start talking to people? And
That's the hurdle.
That is the biggest one, because you actually don't really want to talk to anyone, do you?
No, because first and foremost, 7 is the number of the loner.
100%, man. 100%.
Got to go with that energy, but taken to an extreme, you can't fulfill your purpose. You got to teach. You got to give back that way. You're never going to be a social butterfly. You can't live that life, but you got to talk to people.
Brock Lesnar is the best example of a 7 I could probably find. Big fucking motherfucker, man. Like, for instance, not too many people intimidate me, but if Brock Lesnar got in my face and he started saying, "What's up?" I'd probably say, "Not much, brother." I'm assuming you probably get the same answer out of you. And the reason I'm saying that is because the way Brock Lesnar lives his life. He's a 7 life path. He's out there performing for hundreds of thousands of people, but he doesn't enjoy that shit. You know what he does enjoy?
What?
Going to Canada and in his fucking cabin, which is the nearest neighbors like 20 miles away. And he enjoys being in his fucking cabin in Canada by himself with his wife.
I'll enjoy being in my cabin after this.
Too many people around here, huh?
I mean, I can handle it in small doses. It's all good.
Gotcha. When it comes down to GG33 Academy, what do you think are some of the benefits that a beginner can get? Obviously, a GG3 member, if you're in bronze, silver, and gold, GG33 Academy is free and always will be. But for someone who's new to this, what do you think he could benefit out of it?
Access to live Q&A. You have a question, you got to speak up, ask me, I'll give you an answer.
My man's direct, Danny. My man is direct. What would you say about the other teachers in GG33 Academy? Most of them are capos.
Right.
Some of them are.
Oh, they're starting to build. Largest occult school in the world, right? We're going to have a lot of content coming out.
And I am working on having an app in the GG33 Academy. So, everyone in the academy will just have a means for an app now too, because I'm constantly going to be making it better. And I want people to understand this. I'm not the one who's going to be doing the typing, the one who's going to be decoding. I'm the fucking brand. Okay. I'm sorry, Sticks. I know you're the brand, but I'm going to take that for a little bit. I'm the brand. And I'm going to find the best teachers in the world. Now, some of them are not going to be able to run their mouth like me, but at the end of the day, I'm picking the best teachers out there. This man over here, I've pretty much built this guy. When it comes to his knowledge, he has his own as well. And obviously, when you know a lot about a lot, you can figure a lot of new shit out yourself, can't you?
Correct. I am proud of what I figured out before I even joined GG33.
Mm-hmm. And when it comes down to it, what would you say is the biggest difference between the people who are inside GG33 and the people who are outside, including the academy?
Ignorance. I mean, what else?
You don't sugarcoat shit, dude.
It would be mistakes. Just the common mistakes that people make every single day with their enemy sign, enemy numbers, just doing this stuff. That's the biggest thing.
These bloods can't make me cough, but you just... I guess it's that dry sense of humor. See?
Yeah, you just gotta get used to it.
You definitely do. One of the things I've noticed about people in the academy is after they're in there for a couple months, they got a pretty good grasp of things.
I'm not a tiger.
No. Tell people what you are.
I'm a goat.
You're a goat. And what do you think are some of the attributes of a goat? Without saying too much.
I'm a pretty peaceful individual most of the time. I do pretty well living in prosperity. Simple as that. Pretty good at figuring things out too. You notice how goat starts with G, the 7th letter?
True that. Just like my name is Gary.
A little Gemini helps too.
There you go, brother. You see how you go back and forth and you play this game. G. But here's the thing. This shit matters. A lot of people named Greg, Gary, they tend to be intelligent people. A lot of people with G, where the company starts with G, they tend to, do a lot of good things. Google, is how they like to do that GO, just like the government likes to do the GO, just like God. GO. I call it the Go Network, man. And by the way, G, 7th letter, O, 15, 7, 15. What is that? 22. Look at that. I'm sure that's a coincidence, dude. It's got to be a coincidence.
It's good to be a goat. I can say that. There's a lot of advantages to it.
What are the
but
disadvantages?
You can talk about the negative. You can say how soft we are.
We can point out that the Russian military was led by a goat until recently, and it's done very, very poorly in Ukraine. Sergei Shingov, I'm going to butcher his name, but he was basically a goat, and he was the lead defense minister, and he just got sacked. And the guy who sacked him was the Wagner head, Prigozhin, and he was born in the ox here. So one of the demands that this ox had was that this goat get fucking dismissed. And you have to understand, it doesn't matter what you do in life. If you're looking at basketball, Kobe and Shaq, or you're looking at anything to do with politicians. But in this situation, you see Prigozhin, who is running the Wagner group, as an ox, and his number one target is a goat.
Want to talk about Russia itself being a goat?
100%. And let's also say the fact that, does it make sense that NATO, ox founded in 1949, is basically running a war against the goat? Or that the guy who committed treason, Wagner of the Prigozhin of the Wagner group, was an ox, and he committed treason against his own nation.
Makes a little bit of sense.
You think it makes sense to the dummies?
About, Napoleon.
Napoleon, born in the year of the ox. And this son of a bitch, who was probably the greatest general in human history, even more so than Caesar and Alexander the Great, he decided to plan the logistics to invade Russia in his enemy year. That didn't work out too well.
So perhaps the goat is better at defense than attack.
Well, perhaps Napoleon decided to go in this enemy year and start a war, and that is not the way of the goat. You really shouldn't start wars in goat years, should you?
That's the truth. Same thing Hitler did.
Yeah. Well, Hitler is another case. So Hitler is born 1889, the year of the goat, and Mr. Nazi himself started getting his ass whooped in 1943. So let's go down the history. 1941, he has Europe dominated. Right. He basically has France. Vichy France is to the south. All the people are collaborating with him. So during the snake year, the ox, friend signs, he's doing really well. And then all of a sudden, 1943 happens. He loses Stalingrad. He loses Kursk, which is the biggest tank battle in world history. It is to this day. And after he lost that, it was just a matter of time before the whole Nazi machine collapsed, because he basically committed all his reserves to Kursk and Stalingrad. And after that, they were basically running away the whole war.
By the way, taking it back to Napoleon, his astrologer happened to be born May 27th. which happens to be my birthday as well. Unfortunately, he did not listen to her.
And what was the advice she gave him?
She told him not to invade.
Not to invade Russia?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And Alexander the Great, also an ox. He's one that I might respect just a little bit more, though.
Alexander the Great. Who was it? I think one of his biggest problems, Napoleon, was he married a woman named Josephine. And Josephine was high class society, but she was older.
And
she was also a goat.
Exactly.
So he married his enemy sign. And then a couple years later, they didn't have, telephones back then. So they basically wrote letters. And one of the ships that was carrying Napoleon's letters was basically boarded by the French and repossessed by him by force. And they read Napoleon's letters. And in those letters, he's like, I'm the master of my domain. They call me emperor, but my wife is cheating on me. And they basically put all his letters in the newspapers in London. So while this guy was master in the universe, people were laughing their ass off at him in London. And the funny thing is, again, this could have been prevented if he actually knew astrology, but it didn't stop there. Once he actually got rid of Josephine and married the Duchess of Austria, they had a child, and that child was a goat. Napoleon saw this child for the first 6 months, and he never saw this child again. See, this is the beauty of this stuff. These are the biggest names in world history, and they do not possess the knowledge we have, the knowledge we're sharing with these people right here.
Those are the checks and balances of this matrix. If you don't know, you're going to get hit every single time.
Some people more than others.
Correct.
When I look at this matrix, I always want people to understand, don't take my word for it. Don't take his word for it. Just look around. Look around what's happening. And you're going to see consistent patterns over and over. The same type of people look a certain way. Like, I'm being dead serious. Start looking at all these LGBT folks. They usually have a round face and they have a certain type of voice. You see the matrix over and over with these NPCs. NPCs are so fucking easy to tell. You can literally look within a second and you'll know if someone's an NPC. They have a certain aura about them. You don't even have to see auras. All you have to do is be able to feel energy.
You don't even have to see the Ukraine flag on their car.
Yeah, it's so funny. The LGBT community is so behind the Ukraine war. The funny thing is, until recently, they used to hang homosexuals in Ukraine. So they ain't for you. It just shows you how much they're for the Democratic Party. No matter what they say. And by the way, the LGBT have replaced the blacks. The black people used to be the main people in the Democratic plantation. And now they've been slowly replaced because people like Candace Owens, people have been waking up the black community. So now they need a replacement. And that's where they come in real hard with these trans, when they come in real hard with these homosexuals and stuff of that nature, because these are die-hard Democrats. They don't need any logic. They don't give a fuck. All they want to know is where's that D at, and the Republicans are bad. And, again, mentally ill people should not be voting. People who don't understand history should not be voting. People who don't have an IQ of under 95 should not be voting. It's offensive. It's offensive to me that I study, I look at the issues, I understand politics and history, and my vote counts as just as much as some fucking whore's been who ran in more times than 7-Eleven. It's offensive. I can't be the only one who's offended, though.
Shit ain't right. That's what I got to say.
My dude. My dude. All I got to say is when it comes down to it, this world is never going to be just. When it comes down to it, this world is never going to be the perfection or utopia that you guys hope it's going to be. But if you know a little bit, if you gain a little knowledge, if you just understand that knowledge is power. And by the way, the best gift I can give my kids is to teach them what I know. I mean, listen, my kid right now, what's the sign? What's the birthday? This is what my kids are doing. My 4-year-old understands numerology and astrology to a certain point. My 4-year-old. What's your fucking excuse? You know what the great thing about being in GG33 kid? The kids in our group who are being raised by my students, they're gonna run through your fucking kids. All you liberals who say this is hocus pocus, keep saying it. My kids are gonna fucking run through yours. I've already ran through most of you. I'm a multi-millionaire. Not only that, I'm putting people on. I already did it. So again, we're not comparing me. We're comparing the kids. My kids are going to do exactly what Dana White says. Do you remember that video by Dana White?
No. What is it?
Okay, so basically he says, even if your kid is a little bit of a savage, just a little bit of a savage, these kids nowadays are so fucking soft. These snowflakes are going to melt away if they just have a little bit of pressure. If your kid is just a little bit of a fucking savage, he's going to dominate. He's going to completely fucking dominate. And I promise you, my kid is going to dominate the airwaves a lot more than I did. That I can guarantee you, because that's exactly what's going to happen. I plan his fucking birth. And you best believe I don't make mistakes. Woo! You gotta put a little emphasis on it, man. You know, I wish I could have saw Ric Flair in his prime. I wish I could have saw Ric Flair. I would have talked such mad shit to him.
He's a 5.
Yeah, of course. But all the best wrestlers are 5s. Let's go down through the list. Stone Cold's a 5. That's my all-time favorite. Let's see who else is down there. Shawn Michaels. A lot of these guys tend to be 5s. But the guy who's running the show right now, Roman Reigns. Wow. Complete domination. He's dominated that industry for about 3 years. And here's the beauty of it. John Cena, obviously you know who he is. He's a 33-6. And John Cena embarrassed Roman Reigns. I think it was 217. He basically said, if you want to be a top dog, you have to know how to run a promo. He literally embarrassed that guy. And ever since that guy embarrassed him, this dude has just completely took it to a new level. So it took a 33 life path to shame this man for it to get the best out of him. And now some could say that he's the best of all time. You honestly can. He held the belt for like 3 fucking years.
What's his sign?
I believe he's a ox. I could be wrong. Cat or ox. Can you check him out real quick, David? See what he is. Roman Reigns. I think he's born on the 25th, 5/27.
What about John Cena selling out to China?
I mean, listen. It was basically like this. This is what happens. The movie production company says, listen, no matter what your personal feelings are, what's his birthday?
This guy, right?
Yep. May 25th, 85, right? Yep, just what I thought he was. I just wanted to make sure. He's an 8 life path, and he's definitely getting that bag now. And if you look at his birthday and you do the GG33 gold stuff, you understand exactly why he's making noise right now.
I don't like his face, though.
Yeah, I bet you don't. You don't like oxes. obviously. But he is the man right now. And he is honestly, I'm sure a lot of oxes don't like your faith too.
Oh, I know that for sure. Know that for a positive.
Same thing with pigs with me, man. It is what it is. That's the beauty of it. At least we know why. At least you can look at that son of a bitch and, you won't think to yourself, oh, am I racist? Is that why I don't like this man? No, it's astrology. It's astrology. Get it through your thick heads. If people were on this the same way I was, racism would be all but over. I mean, we'd be so cool, we'd be cracking racist jokes at each other without fear of being canceled. You know what? You know the type of discrimination I want to make. I want to make astrology, numerology discrimination. Like, for instance, if there's a sign I don't want to be around, gone. As a matter of fact, we're going to do that. I'm going to open a fucking store and I'm going to check fucking IDs. That's my right as a store owner, to check fucking IDs. And I'm going to fucking make a point that if someone's born a certain year, motherfucker, you ain't getting in. And there's no laws on the book that says I can't discriminate based on numerology and astrology. Is there any laws like that?
Not yet.
No. So I'm going to push these politicians. I'm going to start fucking banning people of certain birthdays from coming in my fucking establishment. And I'm going to dare the government to fucking step up. I think that's next year. Sounds, yeah.
Good one?
Yeah. I'm going to start banning dogs next year. Woof, motherfucker.
Ruh-roh.
I wonder who I'm going to ban in 2025. Anyways, James, how do people get a hold of you? What is your Twitter handle?
That would be Jaymes527, Jaymes.
Say it one more time for the people.
Jaymes527, Jaymes 527.
And you teach what classes for GG33?
Aside from the academy, we teach Western astrology.
So I don't teach Western astrology myself, but my man over here does. He also will be incorporating.
As of now, it's all one-on-one classes too. I don't know how long that will last, but if you want to get one-on-one, it takes about 5 to 6 weeks to get through it. Pretty in-depth.
I haven't done one-on-one classes since 2014. It's been video class. I just can't. I can't even imagine if I had to do one-on-one classes with everyone who signed up, plus the readings I do. Woo! Hell no, I'm not doing that shit. But to get one-on-one, that's a privilege that I just can't afford, people.
How many people you think got that? About 200?
You were one of them.
Yeah.
You were one of them. I remember we used to talk on Skype, I believe.
Yeah.
What was it, once a week? For about 45 to an hour.
Yep. That's about right.
Yeah. And there's no chance in hell people get that right now. I don't have time like that anymore. Anyways, James, this is your first podcast ever. How you feel, brother?
Feel pretty good.
Sounds good.
It's not a big deal.
No, it definitely isn't, man. Anyways, I think that we pretty much understand what sevens are in great detail by what James did and didn't do. This is one of the top astrologers, numerologists in the world, bar none. Having said that, James, any last words for the people?
GG33 Academy is growing. Jump on board.
Gotta like it when my man ends it on sales, my man. There you go, man. Can't leave me hanging, man. Look bad. Anyways, this has been a GG33 production.